Alright, how's it going, everybody? We are back with episode number 43 of Can We Make Impact Wrestling the Best Promotion in Total Extreme Wrestling 2013. My name is the Mayor Jason Smith. Welcome to yet another episode. In this episode, not only will we be heading to the return of Impact Television, but we will be talking about TNA Genesis 2007, the next in our look through the history of monthly TNA/Impact/Global Force pay-per-views. This would be the November 2007 pay-per-view, and we would see a pretty big-time debut in this one, which we'll get to here momentarily. I want to check out some of the news and notes here. Defiant, as we mentioned in the last go-round, looks like they're in some trouble, but they don't really have anybody on the roster that makes it worth us buying them out. And their titles aren't really all that prestigious, and their pay-per-views and TV don't really help us at all. When you tour the company, they have no TV and they have no pay-per-view deals. So basically, we'd just be spending money for a couple of titles that don't really mean a whole lot. They're not very prestigious, as you can see. The international title, maybe, but Chris Renfrew is the only one that's held it. And so, not really much going on there. So, it doesn't make much sense for us to buy them out. And then, of course, our show was excellent. In the grand scheme of things, Sacrifice at the Paladin Stadium, home of the Furman Paladins, for those of you who did not know that. And, of course, you can see here 10 days. We head to Impact Wrestling as we get set to kick off a very important round of television. Finally back on TV, which means we can finally start properly and more effectively booking out our shows. When you look at TNA Genesis 2007, we'll kind of switch gears real fast. It was an 8-match card, pretty decently lined up. One of the best matches in TNA history on this show, and it wouldn't be the match that you would expect it to be, given the card as it's laid out. There's a couple of things here that you look at and you're like, oh, okay, that might be one of the best matches in the history of TNA, and it probably would be near the bottom of your guesses on this card. We've got some unread emails and decisions awaiting our response, so we will go ahead and take a look at that before we get into the Genesis card. A lot of changes, a lot of retirements. Amber Gallows, Doc Gallows, Luke Gallows' wife. Brennan Williams is set to leave WWE. He is an opener, a young lion in the WWE universe. Kurt Hawkins has won himself the United States Championship. Good for him. That's awesome. Gene Snitsky is retiring. That's hilarious. 50. Wow. You couldn't pick a better photo? Come on, Haz. I know you got a better photo laying around somewhere than that one. Sika is retiring, and Ivan Putski passed away at the age of 79. So, there we go. All right, let's check out what this decision is. Hey, we've landed Mauro Ranallo. All right. Fantastic news. Very excited for that. And we will have a brand new pay-per-view carrier in Japan. 6 months, and 90% of the revenue goes to them, but that's all right. We also will have Consequences Creed, a.k.a. Xavier Woods, starting in 1 week's time. We also were rejected by BBC and Azteca in Mexico and Cablevision Mexico. All right, but we got our pay-per-view agreement in the UK. We've got DirecTV Latin America. We have the English FreeSat, SaskTel, a very small carrier in the prairies in Canada, Shaw Direct in the U.S. and Canada, and TV Osaka now in Japan. I'm not sure why we're on SaskTel, given that we're on a much larger pay-per-view carrier in Canada, but oh well, whatever. All right, moving on, and we'll talk about the first match on the card for Genesis 2007, and that would be a Shop of Horrors match between Abyss and Black Rain. Shop of Horrors match basically is an Extreme Rules match, no holds barred, weapons are legal, no countouts, you can only win by pinfall or submission. Abyss would hit the Black Hole Slam on Black Rain, aka Gold Dust, aka Dustin Runnels. Abyss would grab a key that Black Rain had around his neck that had that was used to unlock a building that was on the stage. And there was somebody in it. Johnny the Bull was the unknown wrestler that was in it. But then Reigns and Johnny the Bull would then lock Abyss in the building and then push it off the stage. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. Weird stuff happens in TNA all the time. Especially when Abyss is involved, there's usually some pretty weird matchups that sort of happen there. And some weird match gimmicks and things like that. Not much news looking at here. Nothing going on for us as well, so we'll move on. And we will talk about the next match on the card. Probably one of the better matches on the card. But it would be the Motor City Machine Guns taking on the Dudleys. And the Motor City Machine Guns would pick up the win. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin would pick up the win over Team 3D after they hit the ASCS Rush, which is basically just their kicks and series and so on and so forth. Yeah. Let's see, what do we got going on in-game? A lot of TV happening. Johnny Rods has retired. Road Dogg set to be offered a brand new extension as a road agent. Mr. Armstrong. And it might not be a half bad idea to try to approach him to see what his rate would be if we brought him in as a road agent. 3 years, 10% per pay-per-view, $9,100 per month. We'll go 20%, 3 years, $98.50. See if we can bring BG James back to TNA. Let's give it a shot. Alright, we've got some email. Brian Armstrong was on our short list, so we're good there. Speaking of our short list, we haven't checked it in a while. There's probably a number of guys we can check off of this list because they've already signed with us. Yeah, there's a big list of people that have signed with us. Oh, let's see. Who else? So we can get rid of him. We had him and let him go. Don't think he's going to really get to where we need him to be. Juice Robinson might. We'll keep an eye on him. Kenny Omega we landed. I don't think Kushida's going to get where we want him. We got him. I'm still a little bummed we missed out on Rusev. I really would have liked to have him. Rhea O'Reilly we have. We have Seth Rollins, we have Bray Wyatt, and we have Zach Gibson. Okay. All right. So we've chopped down our short list. We've signed plenty of those guys. So we'll go ahead and advance the day and talk about the next match on the card. The Women's Championship would be on the line on Genesis 2007. The champion, Gail Kim, would face Roxy Laveau, ODB, and Angel Williams. The Voodoo Kin Mafia would accompany Roxy Laveau to the ring. They would get kicked out of ringside and sent to the back. Gail Kim would retain her title after she hit her finisher on ODB. Alright. Unread emails waiting. Aiden English has re-signed with WWE. Bunch of people retiring. Phil LaFawn died at the age of 58. That's sad. Rob Van Dam is retiring. Ricky Knight's retiring. Shane Douglas is retiring. J.J. Dillon is retiring. A lot of folks retiring. B.G. James has had his contract. Whoa, $11,000. Over 4 years. For a road agent. This is going to be my last offer. I'm not going any higher than that on Brian Armstrong. Kairi Hojo has morale issues. Why? Furious at the booking of a match at Impact Wrestling. Back in August? You're just now, or you're still pissed at that? Really? I don't know what she could possibly be mad about, but I'll give her $2,500 to not be happy, or to not be pissed off. Whatever. I'll give you another $10,000 just to not be pissed off. Thank you. I don't know what her deal is. Bray Wyatt set to start in a week, so he will debut not on this coming TV, but the following. Switching gears back to Genesis 2007. X Division Championship on the line. Jay Lethal, the champion, taking on Sanjay Dutt. And Jay Lethal, pretty straight up match, would retain his title. The Dudleys came out and for some reason decided they wanted to beat up Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal. They stole the X Division title belt and said that they were going to hold it hostage for whatever stupid-ass reason, because TNA. That's really the only, like, whenever some weird shit happens with, like, two people who really have no business being, like, in a storyline together because it doesn't make any sense at all, it's just because TNA. Alright. Unread emails waiting. NXT signs Brian Logan. Lakrima Christie is retiring. Arya is retiring. Darby Allin is looking to leave AEW. We're not going to sign him because we really have no place for him on the card. We might... I mean, he could have a developmental deal for a year, and we'll see how it goes, but I don't think he's going to get to where we need him to be to even come close to making this roster, but we'll see. Makoto's headed to JWP. Abyss, Christopher Parks, set to remain with the WWE as a apparently active wrestler. He's technically a road agent these days in the real world. Alright, everybody's pissed off at their development. He's a main eventer in 5SW. Desmond Xavier is a main eventer in 5SW. They're going to end up being lower mid-card guys here, but whatever. Bea Priestley, ready for a call-up. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and bring her on board. We'll bring on Devion Everhart and Desmond Xavier, too. Get them recalled from 5-Star Wrestling. Big morale issues. I'm sad because I'm stuck in developmental. There. Don't worry, be happy, bro. Desmond Xavier, same deal. Also, don't worry, be happy. Here's $10,000. Here's another 10. Don't worry, be happy, Des. You're on the main roster now. And Bea Priestley is sad about being stuck in development. And now she's going to be sad because she's buried. Alright. Let's get them their positions on the roster. And Tamatonga and Tavita Fafita are... I think I'm going to release them. They've got 40 days left on their deal. I'm not going to bring them back because they're not really bringing anything to the table for me. I hate to do it, but they've got to go. It's disappointing because I kind of had high hopes for them, and then they never really got off the ground. Ah, well. So we press on, as we always do. Next match on the card at Genesis 2007, AJ Styles and Tomko, the TNA World Tag Team Champions, would take on the Steiners. AJ, a little cheating. Low blow on Rick Steiner, then hit him in the head with a chair when the referee was distracted. AJ and Tomko would retain their TNA World Tag Team Championships. All right, next up was the quote-unquote 3 main event matches, I guess, if you want to call them that. And we'll talk about those here momentarily. Jungle Boy, Luke Perry's son. Looks like he's going to sign an extension with PWG. Bunch of style changes, bunch of weight changes. Lots of TV / pay-per-views. Lots of retirements. Asia Kong. Charles Wright, the Godfather. Looks like he's going to become a road agent. Antonio Inoki leaving the business. And we have landed Brian Armstrong. So the Road Dogg will become our next road agent in 25 days. Mark Haskins and Jack Sexsmith are ready to be called up from developmental. Oh, let's see. He's a lower mid-carder, and Mark Haskins is a main eventer. Okay, so Sexsmith, I think we're going to go ahead and release because he has peaked and he's not really where we need him to be. Mark Haskins, though, we'll go ahead and recall, bring him on up. Zach Gibson is getting close. Fred Yehi is pretty much ready to go whenever he's ready. And Daichi Hashimoto is still a lower mid-card guy, so we'll keep an eye out for him. Mark Haskins, we'll go ahead and pay the man. Mark Haskins is happy, and we'll bring him on board. Desmond Xavier, Devion Evanhart, both openers. Shocker. And let's see here. Mark Haskins is enhancement talent. Kind of saw that coming. Okay. 6th match on the card at Genesis 07. Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode. Joe would hit the Muscle Buster on Bobby Roode. There was a little bit of drama in this match, and it had nothing to do with anything in the ring. Tracy Brooks, who was ringside for Bobby Roode, actually passed out. Like, shoot, not kayfabe. She legit passed out, and had to have the EMTs that were ringside help her get backstage and get treatment that she needed. Very strange. We have unread emails and decisions in our inbox. Lucha Underground, future looks bleak for them. We'll keep an eye on Lucha Underground because that would definitely be a promotion I would want to buy. OVW is in trouble. They've got quite the roster too. Not quite bad enough yet. Vince Russo is the booker. And shocker, what did I tell you? Go back I don't even know, 25, maybe even 30 episodes. Go look up when OVW went up for sale and Matt Riviera bought it. And then Vince Russo became the head booker. And I said, they won't last 2 years. And here they are, damn near dead. We'll keep an ear out for that one too. Those are 2 promotions I would definitely be interested in buying. AEW had an awesome show, Double or Nothing. Rob Echoes and El Hijo del Fantasma decided to team up, and Frankie Kazarian became the new AEW World Champion after Kenta had retained the title for 16 defenses. Darby Allin is signed, sealed, delivered. We will send him to 5-Star Wrestling to replace some of those guys we called up. And the network schedules have been released. As expected, we took an $888,000 loss in May. So we are losing money quite a bit. But the talent level has gone up, and we've been spending a ton of cash trying to bring in talent. So I don't have a huge problem with that, but I would like to start seeing us start turning a profit, or at least start losing less money every month. Otherwise, we're going to be broke in about 90 or so months. Something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Xavier Woods set to start work tomorrow. Next match on the card was the finals for the Fight for the Right tournament, held between 2 guys who had nothing to do with the Fight for the Right tournament until the semifinals. It was weird because you had 4 guys who were in the Fight for the Right tournament, and God, I don't even know how you would explain it, really. So you had Eric Young, Bobby Roode, James Storm, Junior Fatu, Sabin, Frankie Kazarian, Lance Hoyt, and Alex Shelley. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin were both eliminated by a double DQ. So they gave that spot to Christian. And then you had Frankie Kazarian, who actually won his way on through. And then Christian would beat Chris Harris, who had filled in for Rikishi for some reason, and advanced to the finals. So then you were left with Christian versus Kaz, and in a ladder match, to get a contract and become the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. So they didn't have, like your traditional briefcase suspended above the ring or a championship belt suspended above the ring. They had a clipboard hung above the ring. And at some point during the match, the actual paper that was on the clipboard that was representative of the contract fell off the clipboard. So the objective became just grab the damn clipboard. So it was a ladder match to win a clipboard that would represent being the number one contender, in which Kaz would end up winning, by the way. Side note to all of that crazy-ass backstory. Styles and Tomko interfered, and Frankie Kazarian got Christian to fall off the ladder and land on AJ and Tomko. Kaz would then grab the ladder, climb up, get the clipboard, and become the number one contender. Makes sense? It didn't to me either. I had to read it 3 times. Howard Finkel has officially left the business. Hector Guerrero, the gobbledygooker. I feel so bad for that man. One of the greatest talents in Mexican and Texas area wrestling. Hector Guerrero could have stood on his own 2 feet in his own right in the WWE, sans gimmick, or even as a luchador. But no, Vince put him in a fucking turkey suit. Yeah, really happened. Go look it up. Survivor Series. The gobbledygooker. One of the worst things. I think even Roddy Piper cursed on a live pay-per-view. Because he was like, what in the fucking hell was that? And he's laughing at Vince McMahon to his face, sitting no less than 3 feet from him. So, I mean, good God. Just awful. I feel bad for Hector Guerrero that he never got the kudos that he rightfully deserved at a point in his life where he actually could have really, really shined. Razor won the United States title for some reason. Where the hell has AOP been? I have not seen them in forever. I think one of them's hurt, but still. What else we got? Bullet Bob Armstrong has left the business, and Monday Night Raw went down last night. Consequences Creed, for those of us who do know how to talk, has joined the roster officially, which means we can add him and Kofi together as a tag team. Check that out. So we also could do Jon Moxley and Seth Rollins as quote-unquote the Shield. We don't need to call them the second pairing of the Shield. They can just be the Shield because we've only got the one. What other tag teams do we have that are complete on our roster? We've got, the Elite. But then we've got Kofi and Consequence Creed. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. There we go. The New Day. New Day rocks. Alright, and I saw one other one that was intriguing. Sami Callihan and Mike Elgin. I like that name. That's kind of cool. I'll take it. Violent Conduct. Michael Elgin and Sami Callihan. Interesting. Okay, cool. Well, we've got our teams all filled out there. Mauro Ranallo starts in a week. And we are 2 days away from Impact Wrestling, and just in time for us to talk about the main event of Genesis 2007. Tag team match for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, you heard that right. The World Heavyweight Championship, a singles championship, arguably the greatest singles championship in a promotion is the Heavyweight Championship, was defended in a tag team match. So basically, how this works is it is your standard tag team match, but the person who achieves the pinfall for their team becomes the champion. So, theoretically, Kurt Angle, who had the tag team partner Kevin Nash facing Sting and a mystery partner, theoretically, Kevin Nash could have pinned Sting and become the World Heavyweight Champion. It added an interesting twist to this matchup. Before the match would get started, though, Sting needed to announce his mystery partner. And it would be the debuting Booker T. Booker T would be accompanied, of course, by Sharmell, as always, the lovely Queen Sharmell. And Styles and Tomko would get involved for like the 50th time in this pay-per-view for some stupid-ass reason, helping out Kurt Angle, beating up Booker T and Sting both. Angle would hit his tag team partner with the title belt and then hit the Olympic Slam on Sting to get the pinfall and retain his own title. AJ Styles, Tomko, Kurt, and Karen Angle would then form the Angle Alliance. Then you would have Nash and a partner team up for the December pay-per-view at Turning Point to challenge in a six-man tag match. You also would have Frankie Kazarian get his heavyweight championship match on a TV airing of Impact against Kurt Angle, and he would end up losing. Now, I mentioned that this pay-per-view had one of the best matches in TNA history, and despite the complete and utter lunacy of having a contract on a clipboard suspended above the ring, the Cage and Kazarian ladder match is one of the best matches in Impact history. So, I don't know. I don't know. Rhino looks like he's set to leave WWE as we shift back to our in-game action. Miss Janeth, Tim Storm retiring, Astro Moreno retiring, Yuki Morimatsu retiring, Pirata Morgan is retiring, Scorpio Jr. is retiring, everybody retiring. Alright, tomorrow night, Impact TV. And while we're waiting for that to load up, Turning Point 2007 would be the next pay-per-view that we will preview in episode number 43, the December TNA pay-per-view for 2007. And in it, you would have, let's see, any debuts? Sort of. It would be the debut of Velvet Love Entertainment with Velvet Sky and Angelina Love jumping on board. Angelina Williams, she was repackaged before this pay-per-view. They would make their debut together. You would have a Shark Boy sighting. Awesome Kong would make her debut. Kia Stevens. You would have a returning Raven. And some very interesting turn of events in this one, as a mystery debut would end up not actually occurring, but we'll talk about that in tomorrow's episode. Looks like Taylor Rotunda is looking like he's on the come up. Five Star Wrestling performed in front of 51 fans. Progress TV went down last night. OVW had a show. Still not ready to talk about a takeover yet. Lucha Underground had their booking plans released. Still not ready to talk about a buyout. Chris Renfrew became the 5-Star Wrestling Universal Champion. Carl Anderson looks like he should be back to action here soon. And Finley set to become a free agent. We also will have Bray Wyatt joining the roster the day after our return to TV. That would be a nice little debut for us. We are in Packard Stadium in the Southwest region. I have no idea where that is. That would be home to the Arizona State Sun Devils baseball team. Built in 1974, seats 7,800 for baseball. Interesting. Sorry, I'm distracted. I was just reading up on Packard Stadium. It's got a very interesting history behind it. The playing surface was renamed Bobby Winkle's Field after the school's varsity baseball coach, first ever varsity baseball coach. The name of Jim Brock was added to the stadium. He is the all-time winningest varsity baseball coach. As a result, the full name of the Packard Stadium is now Bobby Winkle's Field, Packard Stadium at Brock Ballpark. Just easier to call it Packard. And looks like a lot of improvements over the last few years. Custom hardwood lockers. $1 million worth of clubhouse and events plazas were constructed in August of 2004. There's a center field green monster. Okay. Interesting stuff. In 2013, they actually moved to Phoenix Municipal Stadium in just outside of Arizona State's campus in Tempe. And Reggie Jackson was the first college player to hit a home run out of Phoenix Municipal Stadium when he played there before Arizona State moved to Packard Stadium. So, all right then. I digress heavily, swiftly, and severely. Okay, so we have got some new players in the mix. As such, we need to find a suitable opponent for the Lucha Brothers in tag team endeavors. And we will have, we would have 2 weeks to figure that out. So we will do a couple different tag teams squaring off against each other to see who will face the Lucha Bros at our next pay-per-view. So we'll start on one side with New Day. So we'll do New Day versus... Let's do the Inner City Machine Guns. Yeah, like that matchup. This would be one of those matchups that gets you an A rating. A sneaky A rating. Okay. And on the flip side of that, we'll feature Violent Conduct versus the Shield. Because I don't think Seth holds any titles at the moment. If he does, we'll change this up. So I think we'll just leave it like that for now. Yeah, he's the grand champion, so scrap that plan, and we will switch it up with the Young Bucks. Against Violent Conduct. And Seth Rollins needs an opponent for his grand championship. So let's start hunting one down here. Why not Jon Moxley? Why not indeed? We'll dip our toe in the water with this one. In a non-title match. Billie Kay's going to need an opponent as well, which I think we already had sussed out for her. Yeah, Shayna Baszler. And I forget we're only 90 minutes now, so we're going to have to back these matches up a little bit. Billie Kay, Shayna Baszler. We'll go ahead and dip our toe in on that one. Let's see how it rolls. We're going to have to back pretty much all of these matches up, or we're not going to have enough time to fit in the people we need to fit in. Okay. We need to find Cody a worthy opponent for his world title. And Cody will get Adam Cole, baby. This will be our main event. And we need somebody for the one, the only where the hell did he go? Oh, Kofi's booked. So New Day's not going to be able to run this match either. So I guess we'll go with... You know what? I'm going to leave it. And we'll just have a Fatal 4-Way to find out who comes out on top for Kofi's #1 contender for the X Division title. So let's roll with Marty Scurll, Kenny Omega, Jay White, and Eli Drake. Because Eli hasn't had a fair shake in a while. I feel like we haven't really pushed him enough. Let's give that a go. Alright, and we'll back that one up a skosh. Alright, so we have 30 minutes left. And we have 2, 4, 6, 8 wrestlers that we can use to fill 30 minutes. I am going to go Penta versus Phoenix because that is one that I would absolutely love to see. And that one's going to start the show. Alright, and we've got 15 minutes. And we'll just do a straight up 6-man tag. So we'll put EC3, TJP, and Johnny Impact against 3 guys who are technical masters: Jake Hager, Bobby Fish, and Will Ospreay. Alright, so that fills our 90 minutes. And we'll kick it off here. So a B+ out of Phoenix and Penta. Great match there, as predicted. Billy Kay, Shayna Baszler is going to work out for us about as good as it's going to get with the women's division. So we'll go ahead and book it, Vince. Our 6-man tag matchup actually turned out okay. So we'll throw that on the card too. Who would have thunk it? We'll take it though. New Day versus the Inner City Machine Guns. Looks pretty good. And the New Day will face somebody here. X Division Championship match looked really, really good. Marty Scurll is the #1 contender for Kofi's title. And then I'm going to put Drake, Kenny, and Jay White in a triple threat match on the pay-per-view as well. Young Bucks and Violent Conduct looked okay. And Violent Conduct will meet the New Day to determine the #1 contender for the Lucha Bros tag title. Seth Rollins beats Jon Moxley in a great match for Seth's Grand Championship. Really got to get those tag titles off the Lucha Bros so I can give them a singles run. Cody and Adam Cole was okay, but not great. So I think we'll look one more spot. But a B rating, all in all. Increased our popularity in 11 regions. So we'll get our ratings here, and then we will wrap up this episode. As you can see, we gained a new Twitch follower. Thank you for that, by the way. All right. Excellent show in front of 7,200 fans at Packard. Tony St. Clair has left. Tommy Young has left. Tully Blanchard left the business. Butch Reed has retired. Joe Koff has left the business, the former owner of Ring of Honor. Bray Wyatt makes his debut at TV next week. And Bray will be, I don't know why I did that. Bray will be a main eventer, as expected. Alright, so ASW UK is up for grabs with the retirement of Brian Dixon. Ring of Honor is now up for sale due to the retirement of Joe Koff. And we got a 3.05 rating on Pop. So we're still right around that 3 rating, despite being off TV for a few months. Didn't really miss much of a beat at all. Kind of nice. Alright, so that's going to wrap this episode up. And we will see you guys tomorrow for episode number, what are we on? 44 coming up for us? Episode number 44 on the way, where we will talk Impact TV and Impact Final Resolution, or Turning Point 2007. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, make sure you follow us on Twitch. And if you'd like, donate. I'd like to get a webcam so you can actually see my ugly mug somewhere up in here, up in this corner, up in here, and get me a new microphone. The one I have works, but it's not exactly conducive to the type of streaming that I do. So, hook a brother up. Thanks for watching. My name is the Mayor Jason Smith. We'll see you next time. Be excellent.